That morning, Bandungan had been preening itself since dawn. Fresh air blew from the slopes of Mount Ungaran, carrying the scent of dew, chrysanthemums, and the spirit of the residents as they began to prepare for the flower carnival. From a distance, the sounds of gamelan and drums began to echo, like an unspoken invitation for everyone to gather and prepare. Amidst the bustle of street vendors, the thunderous footsteps of spectators, and the laughter of children who had already painted their faces with colorful flowers, one line commanded attention from the start. The line looked dashing, neat, and dignified. They were warrior dancers, a top contingent from Gondawangi village, a village long known for preserving the art of warrior dance, a legacy of their ancestors. Their attire was striking but not garish. They wore palace-style warrior attire, dominated by maroon and gold. Their heads were covered with neatly folded batik headbands. In their hands, they held replica spears, yet their spirit was like that of real weapons. Their steps were uninhibited. Their movements were like one soul, one body, one breath. Their warrior dance is not just choreography, but a statement of heritage, courage, and love for their homeland. 1. No simple preparation several days before the big day. These dancers gather at the village hall from morning until night. Rehearsals are conducted not only to perfect their movements but also to harmonize their energy. There's a special pride in being part of the warrior ranks in the flower carnival. In Bandungan, the honor goes beyond mere appearance. They represent the face of their village and represent a generation that upholds traditions. Women from the Family Welfare Movement (PKK) group help prepare the costumes. Each piece of cloth is cleaned, resewn if necessary, and sprayed with yang flower perfume to ensure they remain fragrant even after wearing it all day. The men help make spear props, polish the soldiers' boots, and even polish their leather shoes with wax to a shine. The atmosphere at practice often becomes emotional. Some of them are the last generation to still be able to dance the warrior dance perfectly. Some inherited the moves from their grandfathers, who danced in the 1960s when Bandungan was still a simple farmland and market carnival morning arrived. Bandungan's main street was closed at 7 in the morning. On both sides of the road, local flowers from farmers were arranged into gates, hanging garlands, and even tablecloths made of neatly arranged chrysanthemum petals. The scent of fresh flowers combined with the eager sweat of the audience, who had been waiting since morning, and as Javanese gending music began to play loudly from the large speakers at the starting point, the warrior dance contingent began to march. The front row consisted of 4 dancers who performed the opening movement, swinging spears toward the sky, then stomping their feet on the ground 3 times. The vibrations were felt even from the back seats. Each stomp of the dancers' feet seemed to summon ancestral spirits, asking for their blessings for a perfect performance. The audience was silent. There was no screaming. Even the fussy toddlers stared. The moment was like mass hypnosis. The warrior dance movements are not empty gestures. Every hand swing, foot position, and even eye contact have meaning. They perform an abbreviated play about Rezi Prawada, a fictional character from Bandungan who led a people's army to defend the village from Dutch colonial attacks. The first movement, called Gangdik Gaga, involves a warrior standing upright with his chest out. Then, lyric tombak, a spear twirled 3 times in the air before being thrust into the ground, depicts mastery of weapons and readiness for battle. The Sabit era movement, in which the body bends and jumps left and right, demonstrates the agility of warriors on the battlefield. What captivated the audience was not only the beauty of the choreography, but the dancers' expressions, their total commitment. Their faces were serious, and some even sweated profusely, but this did not diminish the intensity of their movements. The audience applauded each time the formation changed, like waves sweeping across the street. The dancers moved left and right to the accelerating rhythm of the drums. One of the most touching moments was when an elderly man stood from his seat and saluted with his hand on his heart. He was a retired 1945 fighter, and his eyes were filled with tears. Beside him, a young grandson asked, "Grandma, who's that?" The grandfather replied quietly, "That's no one, son. But they represent all of us who once stood like that." This moment was captured by a documentary crew and went viral on social media that evening. The warrior dance is indeed more than just art. On that day, it became a bridge of emotions across generations. Amidst the cheers, there was emotion. Amidst the applause, there was prayer. Amidst the children's smiles, there was a spirit that might grow into the seed of love for their own culture. A light rain fell midway, but none of the dancers retreated. The music continued. The audience drew closer, opening umbrellas while watching from behind the drizzle. Some dancers appeared to be shivering, but they remained standing. The contingent coordinator, Mr. Sino, raised his hand and signaled for the formation to speed up. But the dancers refused. They chose to complete all the movements, even if it meant slowing down a bit, because for them, this wasn't just a dance, but a devotion. The closing movement was Sujit Tunggak, when all the soldiers knelt and bowed at the end of the dance, as a sign of respect for the land where they were born. The rain was getting heavier by then, but the atmosphere was solemn. The audience applauded non-stop.